Look, I'm going to just snatch a quick quote from this video, okay? It's really criticizing a Christian apologist, yep. But the reason I'm snatching this quote is because the number of people that this refers to, that the certain kinds of Christians always talk about, are the ones who think they're a Christian, but they're not really, and at the end of time, at the end of their lives, they will go to Jesus, and Jesus will say to them, "Depart from me, I never knew you." That's one they constantly harp on about. So just look at what this guy says for a second, okay?
In hell, at least in some sense of the term, they do not want God. They might want out of hell, but they don't want heaven in its fullness. In a sense, they'd be like, yeah, take me to heaven. I want to. But if they don't really want heaven in its fullness, because its fullness is Christ and the holiness of God and the transformation that comes by the Spirit. And these are things where, like in John, it talks about people who love the darkness so they don't go to the light. Our wants get manifested in the decisions we make before we hit eternity. And so there's a desire. I don't want to be in hell, right? But I also don't exactly want all that God has either. That's something important to recognize.
This is the most atrocious, actually, and people may not see that. The more you look into this line of argumentation, I mean, it's victim blaming, first of all. You know, this is what you wanted. You know, you're in hell, you didn't want to be with God. And I know I just made a video on heaven saying how I don't think it's all it's cracked up to be, and I wouldn't want to be there. But if given the two choices, and they actually were true, you can best believe I'd want to be in heaven over hell. My point here is, I might be the kind of person that Mike can say this about, because I do think that Yahweh is horrendous. I'd rather be with him than burning alive in hell, but I understand I might not be able to have a heart that says, I long after spending time with the Father. However, old Brandon and a billion other people on this earth who die and find themselves in hell, who just didn't know, they didn't have good enough reasons to believe. They thought they were a Christian, right? This is what we're told all the time. There's going to be a lot of people that thought they were saved, and then they're in hell. These are people that profess to love God. Maybe they just sinned too much. Maybe they never fully repented. Maybe they didn't have the right salvation doctrine, whatever. You cannot tell me that for the 100 billion people that are burning in hell, not one of them has recognized the error of their way after finding out Jesus is who he said he was, and they don't desire to have a change. Their heart can't repent. Like, if we can do this in a few years on earth from lesser consequence, which is the point of consequence, why over an eternity in hell could we never reach that? What a stupid thing to say. What an arrogant thing to say, that everyone who's in hell wants to be there. Nope, false. For a billion reasons. And we'll have to make our own video about the ridiculousness of this statement. But let's get...
So, I think you can see how I will not believe in a God who will send somebody to an infinite punishment for a finite crime. That is absolutely horrendous. If you believe that in the traditional sense there really is a hell, and God is going to send those who don't believe in him, those who don't get the message, those who don't have the right kind of faith, those who sin too much, that he's actually going to send them to be eternally tortured, then I feel sorry for you, because it's not the God I believe in.